Welcome everyone to the July Council meeting, and could everyone please be standing for the opening prayer and original custodian statement. Almighty God, grant to this council wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose for the good governance of this city. Amen. And council acknowledges the Peek-Wurrong and Curry-Wurrong peoples of the Maar Nation, their land, waterways and skies within the Warrnambool municipality, and we pay our respects to their elders past and present. Thank you everyone, please be seated. Now move on to item 2, apologies. Do we have any apologies for tonight's meeting? Councillor Jelly?
Yes, Mayor, I have an apology for Councillor Arnott.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 3, confirmation of minutes. So we'd like to move that the minutes of the scheduled meeting of Council held on the 2nd of June 2025 be confirmed. Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh. Seconder, Councillor Benter. There were no questions or anything with that. We'll now put the motion to the... Oh, sorry, Councillor Ziegler.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding churlish, there is a problem with the minutes in terms of the spelling of my name in a couple of different places.
Apologies. Apologies.
It's not an apology worth, it's just something that needs to be corrected, I suppose.
We'll have those, we'll have that added on, that those amendments will be made to make sure your name's spelled correctly, Councillor Ziegler, and I'm sorry. No other issues there?
Nope.
All right, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Now move on to item 4, declaration by councillors and officers of any conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest this evening? No. All right, we'll now move on to item 5, the mayoral presentation. It was really great to see, it was actually great last week on Thursday, the Beyond Bank have moved to their new premises opposite Target there. It was really great to see so many there and to see a bank investing in our city. It was a really, really good event. I attended, the CEO was there as well and the Director of Corporate. Winter solstice this month was bigger and better than ever. And it was really amazing that we thought we had a record crowd of over 5,000 last year, and we smashed that record again this year. So it's been a really big buzz. It's really becoming a staple there for the winter calendar across southwest Victoria. So if you didn't make it down this year, come again next year because it's going to be great. Last week of June, the CEO and I and the Director of Community Development, Brooke Love, were up at Alga. It was a really great week, hearing from all the different local government associations across the country. There was over 1,600 delegates there. And the week before that, we were in Parliament, and you would have seen all the pictures up, meeting with a whole heap of parliamentarians, pushing some different agendas across Warrnambool. All right, we'll move on to item 6, the public question time. Mr Mason, were there any questions?
Mr Mayor, there have been no questions for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item 7, the reports, and item 7.1, the community satisfaction survey. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. The community satisfaction survey is done every year and is a requirement of the state government. This year, I'm very pleased to say that our results were very good. Council is performing better than the regional and state averages in all of the core measures, and we've seen some really significant improvements in a range of our service areas. I would hasten to say that while the results are very good and very satisfying, there's still work to be done and no room for complacency, but they are good results. I would like specifically to thank and acknowledge council staff who do a great job in performing the services. The recommendation before council is that you receive the report and put it out on our website for public information.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions on that one? Do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll move that the 2025 Community Satisfaction Survey be received, and that the 2025 Community Satisfaction Survey results be placed on the Warrnambool City Council website.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Benter. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, I mean, it's always satisfying that the results are positive in this case. It's It's a nice thing. We have to remember, however, as the CEO said, that there's no room for complacency and that this doesn't reflect the majority of the residents in town, and that there are still, according to the satisfaction survey, 33% of the respondents saying that the council is heading in the wrong direction. However, all of our markers are positive, or the vast majority of them are positive, and it's a wonderful thing. I note particularly that the Arts Centre and Library Service are predictably getting really good figures in the 70 percentile of satisfaction. That's really very gratifying. And again, similar to what the CEO said, I think that council staff have to be commended for their extraordinary efforts in all areas.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Benter.
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate that Councillor Ziegler and also CEO's comments about the staff working actively to increase the community's satisfaction with the results. And still striving, and hopefully we can be more active and listen more to the community, so we can keep improving on those services. It's great that we've been going 3 points forward, but the rest of the state's been going, well, it's not good for them, but they've been going 3 points backwards. So when you look at our gain, that's a big credit for what the city's been doing. But it still doesn't mean we can rest. We've still got to go forward because the biggest area for improvement, one of them is community consultation, and we still have to advance on that to get that score up above, or that point score up higher. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Councillor Jell.
Thank you, yes. These results came from 400 phone calls across the city earlier this year. Warrnambool City Council came in above, as we've said, many other municipalities, which is gratifying, and also we're very up there with our counterparts in regional cities, which is excellent too. That's great. I think that the results from the survey are acknowledging a variety of measures across the council. There are very good positives in the results, but also we must acknowledge there is continued work to be done, and we must continue to strive for better for the city. We know that significant decisions that council makes will not always make everyone happy, so opinions will always be varied in these surveys. So great result, and congratulations to everyone involved. But on we go.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to add that it's the staff that are mainly responsible for the way that the organisation tracks. So I really just want to call out the efforts of everyone all the way through the organisation. We are tracking in a positive way, and I think that's really important. It's really important to celebrate that success, but also draw on the fact that there is more that can be done across a vast number of areas. So, you know, we pat ourselves on the back and we pat our staff on the back, but we continue to strive to be better and to be the best that we can in the region.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to reiterate everything that the other councillors have said, and just noting the importance of the staff that we look and say 3 in 5 residents had contact with the council over the past year, with 32% in person and 30% by telephone, and that's received a really high rating of 77%. So it shows that our front of office staff are doing a fantastic job, and like everyone else has said, we commend the work they do at the moment.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. And I do think that it's a really good result. We've bucked the state trend, which I think it is a feather in the cap too, and it is the staff who do an awful lot of that work. There is still more work to be done, and we've seen how fast these results can change, and you don't have to look that far back in what's actually in the report there to see some of the dips and bips along the way. So thank you to Warrnambool, and hopefully we can continue to improve across what we do at City Council. Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close?
Just one more thing that I'd point out and make obvious, that There appears to be, the one marker that we were down on was the sealed local roads marker. And I think that the comment from the CEO that the confusion has arisen out of the fact that a lot of the roads that people have actually criticised are not in our council control. They're arterial roads that belong to Vic Roads. We can't do much about that. And we all are quite cognisant of the fact that the roads outside the town need a lot more attention from the state, and it's not all down to council. So that needs to be pointed out.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.2, the Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Report. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. The Audit and Risk Committee provides an important oversight role of Council's operations. The committee provides two reports to Council every year, this being one of them. In the last 6 months, the committee received 5 internal audit reports into a range of council services. These reports ensure good governance oversight, but also ensure that council reviews and improves services and the way we go about delivering our services. The Audit Committee has also recently reviewed its charter with minor changes recommended. So there's a 3-part recommendation before you, councillors, which seeks to receive the report and then revoke and adopt the new charter.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. I move the officer's recommendation as noted.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. This committee, which yourself and I are members of, plays a really important role, as Mr Mason said. The fact the charter's been updated, yes, minor, but provides us with really good governance. The internal audits and the internal auditors that support us to do all those activities just adds to that governance layer that we want to make sure that we're really strong in. So happy to accept the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler.
I have nothing more to add. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? And I'd like to add too, it has been going really well, especially being your first year on the Audit and Risk, Councillor Walsh, and a big thank you to all the members and our chair, Kevin Ledden, as well. It's been going really well and is a really, really important function, and it is working well. And I think the Audit and Risk is working well with the organisation as well to make sure there is good oversight. Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.3, the Warrnambool City Council Local Government Election Report. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This is fairly procedural, but the Victorian Electoral Commission has provided us with a report on the 2024 council elections. The Local Government Act requires that I provide this report to council, which this report seeks to do. So recommendation that you receive the report is before you.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the Victorian Electoral Commission's Warrnambool City Council General Election Report for the 2024 local government election be received.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Second to Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The 2024 election was conducted in accordance with the legislative requirements. The financial costs of conducting these elections is extremely expensive and a burden on each individual municipality across the state to fund. Warrnambool City Council was fortunate to be able to utilise the former library building here at the front of 25 Larbic Street, which saved approximately $60,000. So that was really well coordinated through CEO and staff to come up with that. So that saved us some money. I personally think that the requirement the Warrnambool City Council move to the new electoral structure of 7 single-member wards mandated by the state government was not the correct decision for our city. There are for and against for both wards, without wards, sorry. But I think that much feedback from our community was that many constituents did not get the opportunity to vote if the ward they lived in only had one candidate, so that ward was unopposed and the residents did not get to vote. That wasn't the candidate's fault, that's nothing to do with the candidate, but there was a lot of feedback that I heard back that we had 3 wards and the people that lived in those wards didn't get to vote. Positive of wards is that hopefully residents get to know the councillor in their ward and know who to contact if they have any issues. What we all need to remember is that even with the 7 ward councillors, all 7 councillors are elected to vote for issues and needs across the entire city and not just focused on their ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, I'd echo the comments of my colleague, Councillor Jelly, and say that it is unfortunate that the current structure was adopted in a lot of ways, and not the least of which is the fact that the wards that only had one candidate didn't get an opportunity to have a vote at all, and democratically, I suppose that's a minus. Again, I'll echo the comment that each of us is available for assistance to any part of the city, so not just our own ward, and that needs to be underlined and emphasised, that any one of us is available to help any other part of the city, not just our own ward. So that's as much as I've got to say on that. I don't think it's a very good system.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Benter.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to add to those comments. During the campaign process, the confusion of the ward system amongst the community was like astronomical, and even finding the boundaries, Google Maps couldn't even get it.
Yep.
So yeah, there was really a lot of confusion with that, and they just didn't promote it, and that's probably reflected in the voting, how it was down on numbers as well. So I think their effort in conveying the change of the ward and the boundaries and that has been let down. And also conveying that just because you're not in the ward, you can still run for that ward. I think there should have been a bit more emphasis on that. So you're representing the city. You may be in the ward, but you're still representing the city, which they could have conveyed as well.
Thank you, Councillor Bento. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Jelly, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, thank you.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.4, which is the Council Internal Resolution Procedure 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you. The council internal adoption of a council internal resolution procedure is a requirement of the Local Government Act. As councillors would be aware, the procedure has been workshopped with you so that you understand it and have had input into how it will work. The procedure effectively sets out an escalation process and principles for resolving, hopefully, issues between yourselves in the first instance. So the procedure is there for you to adopt and hopefully not use.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the recommendation that Council adopt the attached Council Internal Resolution Procedure 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. As Mr Mason stated, hopefully we don't have to use this one, but the good thing is we've all bought into the process. This has been developed in conjunction with every councillor, so everybody's really clear on the process. It's really transparent. I think it's a good way forward. It obviously meets the Local Government Act requirement, so yeah, happy to endorse the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, we were all part of this, and I think it was a really good thing for us all to be involved in with the executive staff as well. In the previous 4 years that I've been on council, and a couple of us have been, there was no clarity with this. If issues, just a little issue happened, you didn't really know where to go or what to do. So this absolutely makes it very clear, and if there was an issue, I think all of us would know what to do because we're all part of it putting together. So I think it's a really good outcome and clear guidelines.
Thank you, councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make it absolutely clear that this resolution procedure is for a procedure between councillors only. It's not to apply to disputes between councillors and staff, which would be handled by the CEO, or councillors and the members of public, which would be handled by the council's complaint policy.
Thank you, councillor Edis. Any other councillor wish to speak? And I think it is important that we do have clear guidelines around how we do resolve internal conflict amongst the councillor group. We are debating and looking at a range of different issues, and it's part of that wonderful democracy thing that we're all a part of, where we don't always have to agree, but making sure there's clear guidelines, it's really critical. Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further from me, Mayor. Thank you.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. All right, we'll now move on to item 7.5, the Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a really important issue, and it's obviously been subject to a huge amount of discussion and concern. Child safety is one of the most important things that a council needs to do. As a child safe organisation, it's imperative that we have the right policy framework, in addition to ensuring that our staff have good training and induction, and that we have an organisational culture that is that ensures and seeks to protect children. So this policy, we have had an existing child safety policy which has been reviewed and updated, and it's recommended that council will adopt this important policy.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Councillor Ziegler?
No questions, but I'd like to move the motion.
No worries. Councillor Ziegler.
Thank you. Mayor, I'd move that the council revokes the Child Safety Wellbeing Policy 2021 in order to adopt the Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Edis. All right, Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, in the light of most recent news, Warrnambool City Council has got to be seen to have the best possible policies, and that obviously covers and includes all our protocols and things, so that this most important area of our operations is covered as best it can be. The safety and well-being of our young people, our children, is critical. Having said that, and in light of the fact that the problems still arise even with the legislation that's in place, some people still get in to spoil the issues and still are able to abuse children. We have to be on top of our game all the time with these kind of policies, and on guard all the time to make sure that our children are well looked after and are safe in our care.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to reiterate what Councillor Ziegler just said. It's absolutely imperative that we are absolutely black and white in looking after our young people. There can be no room for grey area in terms of the child safety. Our Warrnambool City Council operates many childcare centres and kindergartens where we're responsible for our young people. So this is a really important policy to make sure that we do everything we can to protect them.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Councillor Benter.
Yes, thank you. I believe there's no better policy for council to have than this one when it comes to preventing harm and abuse of children and young people. Warrnambool City Council's always been committed and active in child safety and implementing changes when they're needed. seen it firsthand being a volunteer at the Lighthouse Theatre over time, where you physically can't get in the place without having to work in the children's check, a lanyard. It's really in the last, like that's been implemented over the last 3-4 years, which is fantastic in that area. And also the appointment of the Child Safety Officer late last year, which validates the council's commitment to this area. So this safety and this policy can give parents the ease of knowing that their children are in a safe environment when they're in the council care, which is what everyone wants. So to keep working on this policy is fantastic. And just like to thank everyone that's worked on it as well. It's really needed.
Thank you, Councillor Bento. Councillor Jalley.
Yes, I think everyone has said the same thing, and we all agree this is so important for our young children, as we said, in daycare, kindergarten, our youth, getting up in their teens and things like that. And yes, I would like to congratulate the Child Safety Project Officer that was appointed to review and look at this policy, and thank that officer for their diligence in this very important project. So we must be vigilant all the time. It's excellent that we've got this, and as Councillor Eater says, this is black and white. There's got to be no grey area, and we must continue to be vigilant as always.
Thank you, Councillor Jalley. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to highlight that everybody within the organisation has a role in child safety, not just the staff, the councillors, the executive group, our volunteers, the managers. Everybody has a role in this. We want to develop a really strong culture around child safety, and we want to champion that. And I think this policy is really clear. It really outlines the expectations and whose role it is, noting that it's everybody's role.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. And it is critical with all the services that we offer, not just daycare. We've got library services, we've got Learn to Swim. It's across all of the services across council. And it really is safety for not only our children but our staff as well, making sure that everyone is aware of, as Councillor Walsh said, what your responsibilities are. Because as a council, as a government organisation, we want to provide a safe space to work, play and learn, and that is what our aim is, and this is what this policy really feeds into. Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close?
One quick thing, Mayor, I thank everyone that's reiterated the concerns that I pointed out at the start in moving the motion, and also just remind people that working with children's check doesn't guarantee anything, as we've learned in the news very recently. And it's this policy is all about everyone being vigilant and everyone being on notice to make sure that our kids are safe.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.6, the Open Space Policy 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Council has an existing open space policy which expired in May this year. It's a review of this document has been undertaken, and it's recommended that Council adopt effectively a slightly modified version of that open space policy, and that's the recommendation before you. I would note that there is further work being done to develop an open space strategy, and what we would expect is once the open space strategy is finished, that will come back to you potentially with a new policy. So recommendation before you is you revoke and adopt the open space policy.
Thank you, Mr Mason. With any questions? We have a mover. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Recommend that Council, 1, revoke the Open Space Policy 2021, and 2, adopt the Open Space Policy 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. Just piggybacking off the CEO's comments about the open space strategy, I think that's probably the key to this one. It's obviously important that we have our policy documents up to date, so an opportune time to review, as noted by the CEO, there's the strategy to come. So I think we'll obviously get a second look at this once that strategy is in place, and that will inform where this policy goes to in the future. But, you know, current policies mean good governance, so.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, our open space policy has always contributed to a particularly good system of parks and trails and open areas around the town, and our customer service survey, which was mentioned earlier in the evening, pointed out that our staff of this particular area of council operations do a really good job and are appreciated so much for the way they care for the open spaces that we've got around the town. And this policy continues that effort. I'm more than happy to second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? It is, the open space policy is largely unchanged, especially when we're going under the strategic review, but it is important our open spaces that keep such are so important to the character of our city of Warrnambool, and it is important that they are well maintained. Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
All right, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.7, the Gorkappa Regional Trails Strategy 2025 to 2035. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. The Great Ocean Road Parks, Coast and Parks Authority have developed a regional trail strategy that includes some gems of Warrnambool, being the Promenade and the Port Fairy to Warrnambool rail trail. While Warrnambool is not part of the authority's area of coverage, we did contribute to the development of the strategy, and we see that there could be advantage to council in adopting this strategy in terms of seeking funding application or funding and grants through other layers of government, and also as an opportunity for some regional promotion of these great assets. So the recommendation is that the trail strategy be received.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, I'll move that the Gorkappa GORCAPA Regional Trails Strategy 2025-2035 be received.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Benter. Councillor Ziegler.
Not much to say on this, Mayor, only that we'll receive it and see what happens out of it.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Benter.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this is, doesn't reflect totally on us, but it's a good thing to be a part of, because it's the region working together with all these trails, which will help promote the rail trails, walking and bike trails in the whole region. So it actually drives the whole tourism for the southwest of Victoria and along the coast. So just I think it's a positive as far as that, because they're going to work together as a group to get it, to promote it.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close?
I'll just say, Mayor, that we'll get benefits hopefully out of the promotion of these particular trails, and possibly some extra funding so that it helps us maintain the trails. They're important to us in terms of our tourism and also our recreational aspects of our town. It'll just be interesting to see what Gorkappa can do for us.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour?
Sorry.
Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.8, the Planning Advisory Committee Expressions of Interest. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. And expression of interest for Planning Advisory Committee members has recently been undertaken. Pleasingly, we received 12 quality applications, and it's recommended that all 12 people be appointed to the committee.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Benter.
Yeah, I'd like to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Councillor Benter.
Thank you, Mayor. It's great to see the strong interest. in the Planning Advisory Committee for this term, with 12 nominees. It's a terrific outcome considering we've struggled in the past with numbers with it. I personally see the increased interest as a large positive for the city, for that to go to 12, where we struggled to get 5 originally, and we got to 8. So it's great. With some previous and some new, or mostly new, nominees. They all come with a large wealth of knowledge in different industries, from planning, building, land development, environment, sustainability, architects, civil engineering, and some local business owners. With this large group comes a wealth of knowledge. So I'm looking forward to the first meeting and the hearing their feedback on the agenda items, being previously a nominee and also current councillor chair for the committee. I find the information obtained from these meetings valuable to me and also for council, as well as seeking their feedback, because we're not always the smartest person in the room. So to get outside info and responses to some of the items is fantastic, because it's different eyes, different views. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the first planning committee meeting, and I'd just like to thank the nominees for nominating. So that's great.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. Just echoing the comments of Councillor Benter, it's great to get a very great and highly qualified set of people prepared to put their hands up. These committees are great value to the council and the councillors. So yeah, appreciate everyone putting their hand up to do that. It's not always easy to commit to a term of nearly 4 years. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, as with any of these advisory committees that we have, they're only of any value if council actually takes the advice and listens to what they have to say. And the skill sets that are reflected in this particular advisory committee are very, very strong. So it behoves us to take notice of what they're actually telling us, although it's going to be very interesting in terms of the new Section 55 legislation that's come through about how much the planning is going to be affected.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? And it really is, for me, it's just a really big thank you to everyone who's actually put their hand up to go on this committee. Usually we struggle to find members, and to have 12 come up of this calibre it's been really great. It's great to see. So thank you to everyone, and I look forward to seeing the feedback that you provide. And thank you, Councillor Benter, for continuing on as chair as well, especially after being a member. Councillor Benter, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, just other than it's going to be great. I'm hoping that it's going to be some robust discussions, hopefully not all day, but yeah, so it should be good.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.9, Amendment VC 267, the Townhouse and Low Rise Code. Mr Mason.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. The state government has made changes to all Victorian planning schemes that will effectively make it easier to get approvals for units and townhouse developments up to 3 stories. In summarising a somewhat complex set of controls, effectively what will happen is that applications for all permit applications that meet a set of prescribed standards must be approved, and surrounding property owners will be unable to appeal these decisions or the approval to VCAT. It goes without saying that this is a substantial change because, and one that will, I think, certainly have an impact on our built form across the city. Because the change removes councillors' discretion to refuse an application, it's recommended that delegation to the manager of city growth be updated so that approvals under clause 55 can be done under delegation, as it seems pointless, whether you agree with it or not, it seems pointless for these applications to come to council given that your discretion has been removed. So a recommendation in two parts. The first being that you note the state government's plan scheme amendment, and secondly that you seek or we amend the schedule of delegation.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, no, Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. I note the council recommendation.
Thank you. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Edis. Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. As the CEO put it, this is quite a complicated little change that will have possibly some wide-reaching impacts, because essentially what it means is where clause 55 is the only appropriate clause, there's no room for people to object. So essentially takes the role of councillors in the planning out of play. Obviously the things like heritage and flood overlays and those sorts of things still come into play if they're a reason for the trigger, but where it's specifically just clause 55, then yeah, it's not necessarily ideal. It certainly opens up a door in terms of getting more housing, which is essentially what it's for, but it won't necessarily make some residents happy where they might be impacted by such a development.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I agree completely with Councillor Walsh. It's a state government push, obviously, to encourage more infill housing to meet the standards that the requirements that they've set. But it is a concern that it's up to 3 stories high, that developers can meet clause 55 and develop a 3-story building with overshadowing and viewing into the neighbour's backyard without that neighbour having any say in it, which is a concern. But obviously our hands are tied in that regard. So whilst it's not great, there's a point to it, but it will cause some community angst, no doubt.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, yes, and articulate from both councillors that have spoken about this. It's out of our hands, as we've said, but I personally have concerns with this planning scheme amendment. Yes, we definitely have a housing shortage crisis here in the city, statewide and nationally. We understand that, and yes, applications will have to tick all the planning requirements to be approved. But in my time in council over the last 5 years, not every application that has come to councillors with 7 or more objections has ticked all the planning requirements, that has ticked all the planning requirements has been correct. Usually these have been multi-dwellings, which this is about. Objectors need to be listened to, and sadly this takes that away from the objectors and the neighbours, and that's what I'm very concerned about. I think it's very hard for objectors, well, they can't do anything now. And I think we should not just be approving the application for the sake of getting houses built, because overshadowing, all those things, as Councillor Edis said, no concern about neighbourhood amenity. It still needs to be part of the consideration. So our discretion as councillors has been removed, and I don't think it's the right move. Yes, we need housing, but I don't think this is the way it should have gone, but it's mandated, and it's, I don't think, the best.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, I'll echo Councillor Jelly's words in terms of the fact that I think that the fact is that it's out of our hands, it's been forced upon us. I'd like to condemn that particular piece of legislation. I think it's completely un-Australian, execrable piece of legislation. It takes the right of our residents to object to developments, and that's just wrong in my book. I think that people have got to have the right to say that this is not right in my area, and I've stood up for most of the people who have made objections to past planning decisions, where I've seen it, that it's their right to object. And the fact that it's their right to object has been taken away just because we need more houses, it can change the face of the town, it can change the face of little areas of the town where residents have said, this is our particular area of town. Now I can't even object what people want to build, so long as they get all the legislative elements right in their planning application. I just think it's wrong. And again, our hands are tied. We've been told to do this.
Thank you, councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Benter.
Yeah, I'd just like to concur with all the other councillors. Clause 55 just removes people's rights to appeal, object. They've got no recourse now. Just because a development ticks certain boxes doesn't mean it's right for the area. A lot of things are not known to the planning department at times when they're doing it, and all the government. Local knowledge is overlooked at times, and when that comes to light, some of the planning gets changed, or the permits. But yeah, it's disappointing. We're just losing our rights. People are fundamentally losing more and more rights every day with this government.
Thank you, councillor Benter. Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further, Mayor, thank you.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Edis, Councillor Walsh, Councillor Blaine. All those against? Councillor Benter, Councillor Ziegler, Councillor Jelly. I'll get casting vote and I'll vote for the motion. So it's passed. We'll now move on to item 7.10, the acceptance of the Power Core offer, Wollaston Road power line relocation. Mr. Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. The relocation of an existing power line in Wollaston Road is a project that has been contemplated for quite a number of years, and as such has been included in the development contribution plan for that area. The relocation will free up land for further residential development. A quote to relocate the lines has been obtained from Power Core. The quote is in line with the budget for this project, and it's recommended that you grant me as CEO delegation to enter into a contract for the works, which will cost approximately $1 million.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. I move the recommendation as noted.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler, Councillor Walsh.
Thanks, Mayor. A large piece of work that needs to be done. Basically, the road's been moved, the power lines needs to follow. Obviously, Power Core are the only supplier in this field. So, yep, happy to authorise the CEO to undertake his duties.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler.
No, I think it's a logical motion, and I'm happy to delegate the powers to the Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.11, the informal meetings of council reports. The records of the council meetings from the 10th, 16th, 23rd June are there. Are there any questions or concerns? Can we have a mover? Councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Benter. No other councillor wishes to speak. We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.12, the Mayoral and Chief Executive Officer Council Activities Summary Report. The activities are there. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh. Do you want to read? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I move the report summaries Mayor and Chief Executive Officer council activities since the last ordinary meeting, which particularly relate to key social, economic and environmental issues of direct relevance to the Warrnambool community.
Be received.
Be received. Thank you.
All right, well, do we have a seconder? Councillor Jolly. Do any councillors wish to speak? And thank you very much to the councillors that have filled in over the month as well, doing all sorts of different things. We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 8, notices of motion. There are no notices of motion. Mr Mason?
Correct.
Item 9, general business. Does anyone have any general business they wanted to bring up? Move on to item 10. Are there any urgent business items, Mr Mason?
None submitted, Mayor.
And we will move to item 11, close the meeting. Thank you very much.